Welcome to SNNLive. We're broadcasting live from our studio in Los Angeles, California. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and today on the program we have Bob Goldstein from US Nuclear Corp. It's a publicly traded company with the symbol UCLE, and we have Jerry Simmons from MIFTI, a private company. Jerry, Bob, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Very much.
It's great to have you both here. Bob, welcome back.
Thank you.
So, first things first, let's get an overview of both companies. Let's start with US Nuclear Corp.
Certainly. US Nuclear Corp is a spin-off from the Manhattan Project, where they developed the first radiation safety instruments. We make radiation safety instruments for the national laboratories, for nuclear power plants, hospitals, and now we're putting them on drones as well, so you can fly over your facility and check it out.
Mm-hmm. And Jerry, MIFTI?
MIFTI was founded 9 years ago as a fusion energy company, but more recently we've had a spin-off called MIFTech. MIFTech is in the business of producing radionuclides for nuclear medicine.
Mm-hmm. So let's dig a little deeper with MIFTech. You know, who founded MIFTech and why?
Well, I and two others, myself, Jerry Simmons, of course, and Dr. Hafiz Rahman and Arsad Mohammed founded MIFTech just several months ago because we felt that we needed to split off the two companies, same basic technology, but we spun off MIFTech to focus and concentrate, if you will, on producing medical isotopes and radionuclides.
So tell me a little bit more about radionuclides and also the machine that you guys are looking to develop as well.
Okay, well, we're looking to develop, we actually have a quasi-prototype at the University of California, San Diego called a Thor. And that machine is a 1 MA or 1 milliamp machine. We can get 10 to the 10th neutrons, and 10 to the 10th, 10 to the 12th can produce radionuclides, commonly known as medical isotopes. If you go into a hospital, a local hospital or any hospital, you'll find a nuclear medicine department, and they're dependent on this, on radionuclides, medical isotopes, and there's well over 100 of these different kinds, anywhere from technetium to cobalt-50. It's used universally, but there is a shortage due to a number of things, supply and demand, and or that there's the current fission reactors around the world are being shut down for maintenance or obsoleted, such as in Germany's case. Our proposal is to build a 2 to 5 milliamp machine to produce radionuclides domestically to fill that gap and to save lives. That's what we're about.
Mm-hmm. So then how is the machine that you're proposing to build at MIFTI different than what's currently available?
Okay, well today, like I said, they're using fission reactors, nuclear fission reactors, which have as a byproduct radiation. We don't use uranium-235 or 238. We're using an isotope from hydrogen in seawater. So it's forever, it's free, and there's no radioactivity or very little radioactivity. That's a big difference right there.
Mm-hmm. And then also, you know, tell us a little bit about the competition, you know, and you know, how are machines similar to this being developed elsewhere?
No, there's no machine in the world that's being developed for this particular purpose that's not a fission reactor or one of the other methodologies. Mm-hmm. We're the only one in the world pursuing real fusion-based nuclear medicine.
And what's the market opportunity?
The market opportunity is currently it's $2.7 billion in the United States. That's straight from the NNSA, and $5 billion worldwide, and that's with the acute shortages. It will double or triple depending on what happens in China and India as far as the aging population goes.
So another point that you actually alluded to a little earlier that I wanted to maybe get a little more commentary on is the fact that this is a machine that we want to have in the US, and that might cut costs on production. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Absolutely. Well, right now they have a transportation problem. It's all from offshore. There's several, Russia, Belgium, and South Africa. Canada was a major supplier, so you had to transport it very quickly because the shelf life is so short to use, or it dissipates in the efficacy of the product. So right now it's all from offshore. We intend on doing this domestically with US Nuclear's capabilities and experience in building machinery, and to bring it to the hospitals and clinics and cut the cost of production and manufacturing by up to 50%.
And Bob, you know, Jerry just actually alluded to
Right, yeah.
to this as well.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you know, what is your vision for the strategic alliance?
Well, so we're in this because they're development scientists and we're manufacturers, and we're in the same physics space. together. And so we're jumping in to help out to build the machines. And these are relatively small machines that can produce nuclides instead of the several $100 million power plants that are doing it now. And so we want to build these so that Jerry can put them to use.
Mm-hmm. And then Jerry, going back to you on this, how long will it take to build the MIFTI machine and reach production stage?
That's an excellent question. It's been all over the map, and it's really an economical question. The machine, the components themselves are pretty much 90% off the shelf. So we don't have to redesign the wheel. The machine already exists, like I said, at UCSD. So how long will it take? Right now, we estimate it to be between 24 and 36 months without factoring in any necessary time that's required for FDA and NRC approvals. But in my conversations with the FDA, I'm pretty sure that we can do this in tandem or at the same time in parallel as the machine is being produced. Once it starts being designed and produced by US Nuclear, we can start the procedure along with the regulations and the standardization from the FDA and the NRC. The drug itself does not have to be reapproved. The machine, they don't approve the machines. The drugs are already approved, they're already in use. But we'd have to meet the regulations and the standards that are dictated by the FDA and the NRC. So 24 to 36 months is the best guesstimate. But keep in mind, this is the first time in history this has ever been done by an independent company and not a government agency. But we're pretty confident with our staff, current staff, and experience. We've been researching this at the various university laboratories for near 30 years. So we've been there and done that, and I'm pretty confident we can do this in 24 to 36 months.
And Jerry, what are the barriers to entry?
Well, we're in a unique position at the University of California. The research has been carried on for well over 25 to 30 years. And in that process, about 9 years ago, we filed a patent for fusion energy, which was a shot at the moon. And it was just issued 2 weeks ago. Took about 6.5 years to get that patent. Very rare. Took a lot of work. Further back, we are actually issued the patent for radionuclides. By we, I mean the University of California, because the scientists that are full-time owners and so forth of MIFTI, MIFTEC, have left and retired from the University of California, and one is a lead scientist, one is a chief scientist, one is a CFO, COO, one is a president. We actually have a number of scientists here and collaborators at the University of California, San Diego, where we have a contract, and at the University of Nevada, Reno, where we have a contract. And we have the exclusive marketing rights worldwide issued to us each year by the University of California. And then once the revenue comes in, we will, at that point, be obligated to pay a small royalty to the University of California Board of Regents in Oakland, California. Mm-hmm. But we're right now the exclusive licensees and have the rights to sublicense to others if that comes up, like US Nuclear or someone else wants to sublicense it in another country. We have the option to do that as well.
And Jerry, what's your background? How did you get into all this?
I started in this business, in the fusion energy business, around 20 years ago in the physics department at the University of California, Irvine, and co-founded from the science that was developed within the laboratory there at UCI and other universities, this company called Tri-Alpha Energy, which I was instrumental in raising $500 million. I was recruited by the scientist from UCI to start this company, which these scientists are still here, and I stayed on as CEO and so on and so forth of this company. So that's 20 years. Previous to that, I was president of Moss International, a high-tech computer company. And previous to that, I was also at Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. as a consultant for a year or so.
And Bob, along with the strategic alliance that we discussed here today with MIFTI, MIFTEC, what are some of the other growth drivers at US Nuclear Corp?
Oh, thank you. Sure. There's some important growth drivers. We've developed new tritium measurement equipment that can see 300 times lower amounts of this dangerous material than our competitors. We have new inroads in China where they're building 200 nuclear power plants. But what I'm really excited about right now is this opportunity to get into the medical world. We've been in this industrial safety, but medicine is really important. There's a worldwide shortage of nuclear medicine isotopes.
Mm-hmm. And Bob, where can our audience go and find more information about US Nuclear Corp?
usnuclearcorp.com.
And Jerry, for MIFTech?
MIFTEC.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on this SNN Live. And we're broadcasting live from our studio in Los Angeles, California. With me again has been Bob Goldstein from US Nuclear Corp, publicly traded company with the symbol UCLE, and Jerry Simmons from MIFTech, a private company. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.